objective of learning Arabic language is to understand the ayats that we recite. So that is our objective. If we will not be learning about communicative Arabic, so in other words, if you are looking for that, if you want to learn how to communicate in Arabic, then this course is not for you lah. It is mainly to understand, to help us understand the ayats, the verses that we recite in Arabic, and not to rely too much on translations, inshallah. And because Al-Quran Karim or Arabic language, there is no one language. You won't find any language that can translate exactly Arabic language or Al-Quran Al-Karim word for word or 100%, without losing the its main gist or its main meaning. So Al-Quran Al-Karim or Arabic language itself, just an overview of what is, why do we choose the approach or the grammar approach lah. It's Arabic language, just like any other languages, it's rule based. So there are certain set of rules that are there to ensure, that the communication is logic, and these rulings exist in all other languages. So Malay, English, Mandarin, your mother tongue, all languages will have a set of rules that will govern the language that is there to provide or to ensure, logical communication lah. And every language, not only Arabic language, every language has its own vocabularies. And how do we learn these vocabs, or how do we know the meaning? Of course, we have to refer to the native speakers, the Arabs now. And when we talk about vocabs, right, we cannot run away from memorizing. Okay, so we have to memorize certain vocabs in order, for us to be able to understand what we recite, Al-Quran Karim. And then, yeah, the approach that we will use in Quranic Arabic is grammar approach, which means the topics are grammar topics. If you notice, the material, we actually shared the topics that will be covered in module 1. So in the lesson outline, 12 topics will be covered in this module. And in every module, there will be 12 topics each lah. So all these topics are grammar based. So the types of words in Arabic, for example, verbs, for example, past tense, present tense, etc. And then we also have prepositions, adverbs. These are all grammar topics. But what's the difference between Quranic Arabic and maybe normal conversational Arabic or communicative Arabic or Arabic courses that we learn out there? The examples that we use when we teach Quranic Arabic are all from Al-Quran Karim. And the worksheets also. So every lesson comes with a worksheet or exercise, and the exercises or the ayats or the questions are also, most of them, I think like 90 or 99%, are from Al-Quran Karim. So, and it's very important to do the assignments or the exercises. It's very simple. If you cannot write in Arabic also, I think you can just, underline or circle or highlight the answers lah. And why is there, worksheets? The worksheets will not be marked. So whether you do it or not, we will not check. I will not check. But I highly encourage students to do the worksheets lah, because yeah, so from there we know the progress, our progress, and I can also know from your answers, okay, whether you understand the lesson or not, whether I need to re-explain or not some parts of the lesson, and if there's any misunderstanding, I need to correct those misunderstandings lah. So every lesson comes with handouts, in other words, the slides, and also a worksheet. So worksheet will be done usually after lesson lah. So I will ask students to do the worksheets as homework, and then at the end of or next week, beginning of the lesson, I will go through the answers. So I will also be sharing the correct answers lah. And of course, I expect students to respond to the questions. Yeah, so let's make it interactive. Yep, so that it's less boring. Inshallah. So objectives, yeah, to learn, I mentioned this just now, to learn Arabic language through Al-Quran al-Karim, because that is our main purpose. And if you ask what's the difference between Quranic Arabic and normal Arabic, is there any difference? Of course, there's a difference. There's a huge difference. And is there any similarities? Yes, of course, there's a lot of similarities. In terms of vocabs, the vocabs that are used in Al-Quran al-Karim are also the same vocabs that we use in daily conversation. But Al-Quran al-Karim, on top of the daily vocabs that Arabs or native Arabs use, in their daily conversation. On top of that, there are a certain set of vocabs that are not used in daily communicative or communication among Arabs. And when it comes to the level of Arabic, when Al Quran Karim was revealed, Arabic language was at its peak. So they use or they speak, they communicate in standard Arabic, not like nowadays the native Arabs, they don't speak in standard Arabic. Like usually they will use the Amia or Sing or something like Singlish, so they will use the colloquial language instead of the standard Arabic. Standard Arabic is still used in official or formal settings like textbooks, news, for example, newspaper, articles on internet websites. But other than that, in communication, usually they would use the non official or non-standard Arabic language lah. So during the Prophet Prophet's time, Al-Quran was or Arabic was at its peak. And the standard of Arabic language that was used back then was way much better than the Arabic that is currently used among Arabs. And Al-Quran al-Karim was sent, and the level of Arabic that Al-Quran used was even better than the language that those people used to communicate. That is why it was like they were the Quraysh Makkah, they were attracted to listen to Al-Quran Karim, even though during the day they might say that this Muhammad is a liar, Muhammad is to soothsayer, etc., etc., casting a spell. But at night it was reported that they used to eavesdrop, because they just they are attracted to it and they couldn't help it, and deep in their heart they know that it is not made by human. So the more we learn Arabic, so as native speakers, they know that it is impossible to come up with something that resemble Al-Quran Karim, that is similar or very close to Al-Quran Karim. Cannot even, So the more we understand Arabic language, or the more I learn Arabic language, the more convinced I am that this is Allah's speech. And the more amazed I am at the miracles of Al-Quran Karim, because the standard is so subhanallah, and every single word, letter, shakal has reason, has wisdom, has miracles in it lah. And the other objective is to understand. So just now I mentioned this also, to help us to understand what we recite without relying on translation, because a lot of things are lost in translation. No matter how hard we try to translate the ayah, we will not find exactly equivalent words that are equivalent to the text or the words in Arabic lah, or the verse. Right, so that is Quranic Arabic, and then study of language. This is in general, any other languages. For those who are English teachers or Malay teachers, or language teachers are basically. I think you can relate to what I be sharing here. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Just saw the chat. Okay, so when we talk about study of language, there are different levels. So the smallest unit of language is phonology. Phonology, basically we learn the letters, the sounds, individual units of sounds. So this will not be covered at Quranic Arabic, which means you are expected to know how to read Arabic or how to read Al-Quran Karim. Okay, so we are not teaching the how to read lah. We inshallah will be teaching the language itself, using the grammar based, so the understanding part lah. So where does Quranic Arabic comes in? We start at this level in the study of units, meaningful units, and then words also. So word level and also other meaningful units. Other meaningful units, like for example alif lam at the beginning of the word, what does it mean? al Al-Qari'ah, Alhamdu. What does the alif lam means, for example? What does it resemble? What is the sign of alif lam? And then if there's no alif lam, what does it mean? Letter ya at the beginning, na'budu, letter nun at the beginning of na'budu. What does the nun means? So that is what we mean by other meaningful units. And of course, we will also be sharing some words. So for example, under prepositions, what are the words or what are the prepositions? And we encourage students to memorize after each lesson the set of words. Okay. So that is study of morphology, and then followed by syntax level. So at syntax level, we'll be learning, our focus will be mainly on sentences or phrases and the rules that govern the sentences and phrases. So basically the nahu lah. In Arabic, we call it nahu. Morphology is sarf or ilmu sarf. And then, yeah, so at syntax level, we'll be learning about nominal sentences, verbal sentences, what do, nominal sentences, what do they consist of, what do verbal sentences consist of, what makes a complete sentence, or um, sentence versus verse. What's the difference between a sentence, jumlah, and an ayah in Arabic? Is there any difference? If so, what is the difference? And then yeah, why does, subject and predicate, for example, why does in Al-Quran Karim Allah mentions the predicate before the subject, for example? So all these will be covered at a more advanced level or modules. I think module 4 onwards. Yeah, from module 1 up till module 4, the first part of module 4 will be covering the morphology level only. And then the higher level, semantics level, which we have not developed at Quranic Arabic or at Ijaz. So this is the study of basically balaghah, okay, and then followed by pragmatics. So we have developed these two levels only. So the currently we have 8 modules. All the 8 modules will be covering topics under morphology and syntax. Okay. All right. So example of morphology. Example of this, morphology level. What do we mean? I mentioned some of the examples just now. So here, in today's lesson, for example, we will learn about types of words, anwa'ul kalimah in Arabic. Okay, and then how do we identify verbs or nouns or particles, for example. Okay, so why are they important? Inshallah, later we will know. Slowly, slowly we will know, because it's very important to be able to distinguish between isim, fi'il, and harf. And then later we will be learning about the characteristics of isim, of nouns, and then the characteristics of verbs, and then characteristics of particles and the meaning of particles, inshallah. And then we'll be learning about gender in Arabic. So how do we know what are the, for example, what are the signs of feminine words in Arabic? Because in Arabic, all words, all objects, or all things, all nouns, they have gender. By default, they are all masculine, but if they have any of the feminine signs, then they are considered as feminine. Why is it important to learn about gender in Arabic? Because this will also, when we learn about pronouns later, there's a lot of pronouns that are used in Al-Quran Karim. So instead of repeating the words, Allah Azza wa Jalla uses pronouns. For example, Surah Al-Zalzalah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها. So the ha refers to what? So pronouns, usage of pronouns will make the sentence more concise. And Al-Quran is, subhanAllah, is so concise, but very detailed and very clear in terms of meaning. So therefore, we need to know what do these pronouns refer to. And knowing the gender will help a lot, because otherwise, because pronouns are very specific. Masculine pronouns refer to masculine nouns, feminine refer to feminine, and so on. So this is just to share some examples of the topics that we'll be covering in module 1 up to module 4 at morphology level. We'll be learning about single, dual, and plural. So we have singular and plural in English, I think in Malay also, but we don't have dual. Right? So in Arabic, we have dual. So what are the signs? How do we know that this word is a plural word? How do we know that it's a dual word? And then what does it mean when Allah Azza wa Jalla uses plural pronoun to refer to himself, for example? And when does he use a singular pronoun to refer himself? And yeah, what are the places? What are the verses? And then prepositions and verbs. So these are mainly vocabs, and understanding and remembering the meaning of these words, prepositions and adverbs, inshallah, will help us in understanding the ayah better. And then question words in Arabic. What are question words? Why are there questions in Al-Quran Karim? Rhetoric questions. What do these questions mean? So when we understand the question word, inshallah, it will also help us to understand the ayah better. There's a lot of questions in Al-Quran Karim. All the questions are rhetoric questions, and each question has its own purpose. So purpose will not be covered at morphology level. That will be covered at semantics level, or maybe the yeah, and but I will try to like touch on here and there. So what does this question mean, or what is the purpose? Why does Allah ask this question? To encourage us or to command. Sometimes it comes in the form of question, commands and instructions. Pronouns, I mentioned about pronouns just now. There are 14 pronouns in Arabic, but yeah, that's so many because we have dual also in Arabic, but we'll be covering the main or the more common ones first, especially for beginners. So module one is, yeah, targeted is for beginners, for those who have zero background on Arabic language. And we will not be, yeah, we'll try to focus on the more important topics first, the more common pronouns, the more common adverbs, the more common question words, and then prefixes and suffixes. So the alif lam, for example, waw nun at the back, what does it mean? Muslimuna, mu'minuna, munafiquna, munafiqina. And then types of verbs, past tense, present tense, and imperative verbs. And then how do we identify whether this is an imperative verb or past tense? When does Allah use past tense, for example? Why does He use past tense to describe the future, to describe Jannah and Nar? And then patterns. So pattern is very important. This is, one of the characteristics of Arabic language is that if you know the root meaning, the three root letters, and then you've memorized the pattern, then you can actually, it will help us to derive or to guess the meaning of the words lah. I will share the example. I think it's in the next slide. These are examples of patterns lah. Dual noun, object noun, adjectives. So what's the difference, between how to identify dual nouns, and why does Allah use dual noun instead of the verbs, for example? Um, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu and al-mu'minun, those who believe, and the believers. Is there any difference, and what are the differences? Why does he use alladhina amanu, and why does he use al-mu'minun? So all those I think will be covered in, yeah, in metrology level. So the example that we shared just now, that I mentioned just now, patterns, right? The example for patterns, study of patterns in Arabic. So this is kaf, ta, and ba. So from kaf, ta, ba, if I am to put shakal or vowels, it will be kataba. Kataba means read. It can also be kutiba, any other vowels. So basically, these three root letters are what we call the root word for, and from these three root letters, we can derive a lot of other words in Arabic language. Okay, so and any word that has the three root letters, they have something to do with the root meaning. What's the root meaning? The root meaning is writing. Okay, so words that are derived from this root word, they will have something to do with writing. So for example, kitab. Kitab has kaf, ta, and ba in it, right? With additional letter alif. So this is pattern, right? Kitab means book, right? So a book is something that is written, right? If the action does not exist, writing doesn't exist, you cannot produce a book. There won't be a book. And then kutub. Kutub also has kaf, ta, and ba. Yeah, and kutub is the plural form of kitab. Kutub means books. And then we have katib. Katib also has kaf, ta, and ba. Katib means a writer, the one who writes. Again, it is derived from kaf, ta, ba, writing. So the person who carries out the action. This is the pattern. Katib, fa'il. Okay, so this is the dual noun. So for example, one of the lessons or topics is dual noun, active participle, where we'll be learning about patterns. So the pattern is fa'il. So any other verb, khaliq, alim, for example, they are all dual nouns. They refer to the person who carries out the action. Okay, so khaliq, the one who creates, creator. Alim, the one who has ilm, knowledge, the one who knows, scholar. Okay, so katib, for example, the one who writes. In other words, a writer or scribe or author. So if you notice in English, right, the word book has nothing to do with writes or writing. It is not like derived from the word writing or write. Okay. Writer, yes, is derived from write, but scribe and author, they are not derived from write or writing. Okay, so in other words, it's actually easier to learn Arabic vocabs as compared to English. Like English, you have to memorize more words. So book is a totally different word from write or writing. Maktab means desk or office. They don't have anything to do with write or writing. They are considered as two different words, two other words that are different from write or writing. But in Arabic, desk or office, it has kaf and ta and ba, the root letters in it. Okay, and the additional letter is ma, maktab. So the ma at the beginning of the word, this is what we call prefix. So given any other word, okay, are nouns, nouns that have ma at the beginning of the root word or root letters, usually the ma indicates place, noun of place. So you'll be memorizing or learning what is the pattern of noun of place, for example. So in one topic or one of the lessons is noun of place, ismul makan. So this is maktab, maf'al or maf'il, masjid, madrasah. Okay, all these are places. The place where we study, madrasah, the place where we do prostration, sujud, masjid, and they all begin with ma. Okay. So that is the pattern that I mentioned just now. Example of pattern. Maktabah, also the place where we can find a lot of books that are written. So library is maktabah in Arabic. Kataba yaktubu, this is the past tense of write, it means wrote, and then yaktubu is writing or writes for he, one person. Kutiba, this is a passive verb, was written. So if you notice, all these words, they have kaf, ta, and ba. So they are derived from the same root letters. So in Arabic, if you memorize the root meaning of the root letters, kaf, ta, ba means writing, something to do with writing, then you learn the patterns, then it will help you to guess the meaning or to arrive to the meaning, the actual meaning of the word lah. And then maktub. Maktub means written. This is the passive, or this is what we call the object noun, or passive participle. And then it means written or decreed, in other words. Okay, so that this basically these topics will be covered in the first few modules lah. I pause here for a while. Is there any question? Anyone wants to ask any question? Cannot see the camera. Okay.
Unmute eh.
Yes, yes.
Ya, Assalamualaikum Ustazah. Nak tanya,
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
I ask, so if you give us exercises, you say you won't do no assignment, but you will mark or something like assess whether we understand or not. So we should send it to you, or how does it work?
Oh, we
We
will go
submit,
through. Mm.
or we'll go through one by one. I see.
We'll go through the questions and the
Mm,
answers during lesson.
mm,
So from there, so I will flash the questions and then I will ask you all what is your answer for question one, for example. So I need your participation lah. Means unmute and
ah,
then share your answer. Then I will, yeah. So if the answer is wrong, then from there I basically I can roughly gauge lah whether I need to re-explain or not. Yeah. Yep. So I will need the participation during lesson lah.
okay, yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Any other lesson? Any other question? Sorry. Okay. Then at syntax level, I think I will not be going through this. This one is yeah module 4 and up till module 8 lah, the more advanced modules lah. The sentence level, phrases, rules of sentence. Yeah, we'll be learning about these are some of the topics lah. Of course, not all. Yep. I think we can skip this. Not that relevant for us at this stage. So if, for example, you feel that morphology, you have covered this, right? The patterns, etc. Then yeah, maybe you can just join at the more advanced level lah. Okay, these are the examples. So in Arabic, every single shackle matters. Example of syntax level or the topics that we'll be learning. Allahu, sometimes in Al-Quran Karim, Allah, Lafzul Jalala, Allah's name end with Dhamma. At other times it ends with Fatha. Sometimes it ends with Kasra, Alhamdulillahi, Allahu Nurus Samawati. So why? It has reason. It's not like random. So every single shakal is significant, whether in daily conversation or in Al-Quran Karim, especially in Al-Quran Karim. There's no like coincidence or yeah, everything is has reason. Rabbun, Rabba, Rabbi, why sometimes Rabbil Alamin, sometimes Rabbana. So all this, the endings, vowel endings, this is mainly our focus at syntax level. Um, Al-Mu'minun and Al-Mu'minin both means the believers. What's the difference? La tanhar, this law, what does it mean? Is it prohibitive law or negative law or negation law? Iyyaka na'budu, for example, why is it, the object is mentioned first before the doer. Iyyaka means you, and then na'budu, we worship. So why is it you we worship and not we worship you? Worship you is the like default, or normally in our sentences we will bring the or mention the doer first before the object. But in Surah Al-Fatiha, for example, the object is mentioned first. So all this will be covered at they have reasons lah. Every single word, the structure of the ayats in Al-Quran Karim, of every single word in Al-Quran Karim have reasons. And knowing or learning grammar or nahu will make us, insyaAllah, appreciate Al-Quran Karim, the verses that we read better lah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It's not a complete sentence grammatically. Do you all know? And why is it not complete? What completes the Bismillahirrahmanirrahim? Yeah, subhanallah. It's just amazing. Okay.
Sorry, Saza, there's a question in the
Oh,
chat
okay.
group.
Sorry. Okay, I pause.
Yeah.
Friend Zuhaila. Salam Ustazah. This class no exam kan? No exam. InsyaAllah, stress free. No exam. We just provide worksheets, and worksheets also is it's not like compulsory for you all to do lah. We highly encourage you to do, but it's not compulsory. We're not gonna check. Other than your given worksheets, is there any other kitab that we can buy or refer to, especially if you want to start from the super basic? Mm, I can recommend some websites or Comus online dictionaries, books that you can buy. Uh, there are few books online or that you can buy online lah, like Arabic grammar made easy, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I tried to find books. Yeah, I think websites. There are more and more websites now. Like Quran.com also has this synthetics tree banks, and then which will help lah in understanding. Other than that, yeah, I think I will recommend some websites lah. Madinah Arabic also. They explains grammar, but not for Al-Quran, but they explain grammar in English. And then there's also YouTube channels like Arabic 101. Maybe I'll share later lah, in the WhatsApp group. Some resources that may help. Okay. Is there any under other question?
Tak ada, Saza. Can
Okay.
proceed. Ah.
Alright. So these are the topics lah. In module 1, module 2, module 3. Yeah, the first 3 modules. Okay, so the topics are grammar based, or we use grammar approach. Therefore, the topics are past tense, imperative verbs, accusative pronouns. These are all grammar words or terms or grammar topics. Deficient verbs, the different types of verbs. How do we identify? And then double-lettered verbs. What happens to the letter, the deficient verbs, for example, one of the letters, if it's missing or removed from the verb, what does it mean? Comparative, superlative nouns like akbar, for example. What are the patterns for isim tafdil, comparative, superlative nouns? Passive verbs, derived verbs. Yep. And yeah, this is so morphology level will be the topics will be up to module 4, lesson 5. And then module 4, lesson 6 onwards, this is like the beginning of the higher level or the bigger level, the syntax level, study of sentence, no longer study of words. But we need to know about the patterns, morphology, etc., in order for us to be able to appreciate, to understand the syntax level better lah. So all these are syntax topics or nahu topics. So al-muqaddimah ila ilm al-nahwi al-arabi. Yeah. And the last two modules. So far we have developed only 8 modules lah. Okay. Yes. Arabic make easy. Okay, I cannot open the. All right. Any question? I think that's the last slide on this introduction. Before we go into today's lesson. Okay, let's go into today's lesson. Sorry, before that, I should go through the topics first. So that you have an overview of what are the topics that we're going to learn in this module. So today's lesson, we will be covering learning about the different types of words in Arabic. I mentioned a bit just now about isim, fi'il, and harf. How do you identify them? What are the signs and so on. And then lesson 2 on gender, masculine and feminine. Lesson 3, mufrad, muthanna, jama', singular, dual, and plural. How do you identify the words? And then lesson 4, prepositions. Huruful jar in Arabic, what are the prepositions and the meanings of these prepositions. Lesson 5 and 6, adverbs. So because we have quite a number of adverbs, so we break it into 2 lessons lah. So we try to like chunk the lessons that require, that has more um words to memorize, that require the so we break them into 2 or 3 lessons. The topics that are heavier than others, we try to break them into 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and 2 or 3 lessons lah, so that students can can memorize, so that students won't feel overwhelmed and actually can memorize on the vocabs that we share in each lesson, and to give ample time also for students to practice and to digest the lessons or topic that we learn. Lesson 7, pronouns. I mentioned just now that we will not be learning all the 14 pronouns, because we think for beginners it's not necessary to know the meanings of all the pronouns at one go. So we will be selecting some of the more common pronouns like ana, nahnu, anta, for example. Lesson 8, relative pronouns or isim mausul, words like alladhi, allati, what do they mean and when are they used, in terms of gender, in terms of number also, what do they indicate. And then lesson 9, asma'ul isyarah, demonstrative pronouns, hadha, hadhihi, this, that, dhalika, for example. Where does Allah say, where does Allah Azza wa Jalla says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, that is the book. Why that and not this? The book is, in front of us, it's near us. So there's also like the miracle linguistic part. It's very precise now, the choice of words. And then lesson 10, Asma'ul Isyarah, Asma'ul Istifham or interrogative nouns. And lesson 11 also. So we break this topic, Asma'ul Istifham, into 2 lessons because there's quite a number of question words. And then lesson 12, An-Nafyu wa-Rad, negation and response. So some vocabs that are used to negate a sentence or a verb, and then response words or some words that are used in response to the dialogue or in response to an incident or in response to the previous ayah. And then, yeah, so that's all. These are the topics that will be covered in this module 1, inshallah. So 12 topics or 12 lessons, yeah, altogether, but not necessarily 12 topics lah, like lesson 5 and 6, one topic. Okay, let's go to today's lesson. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's the slide. I opened the slide, but I cannot find it now. Okay. Bismillah. Okay, let's go into today's lesson. Okay, Bismillah. So, anwa'ul kalimah. Anwa' means types. And then al-kalimah. Kalimah also exists in Malay. It's a loan word. It's an Arabic word. Kalimah means word also in Malay. So it's an Arabic word and yeah, same meaning. Okay, no difference, but maybe the way it's pronounced lah. So al-kalimatu ends with tak marbutah. The plural form is kalimat. So anwa'ul kalimah means the types of words in Arabic. And I think this topic, the types of words also exist in all other languages, and mainly in any other languages also there are three types of words lah. It cut across not only Arabic language. So in Arabic we have the first type of word which is al-ismu. Okay, or without the al, then I will pronounce or read this as ismu or isim. If I want to, stop and not read the vowel of the last letter. So ismu, al-ismu or isim, they are the same word. If I say isim, it means noun. Okay, so we find this word in Bismillah or Basmalah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, in the name of Allah. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim have yeah, I prefer the translation, the generally um the entirely merciful and the especially merciful lah. I think that is more accurate as compared to other translations. Yeah, we will learn that later under Sifah Mushabbahah. The difference between the two patterns, Rahman and Rahim. They are both derived from the same root letters, but yeah, so why does Allah mention the adjective like twice? Right, so isim means noun. In the word Bismillah, isim means name. So isim has two meaning. In daily conversation or when we are not talking about grammar, isim generally or originally means name. So mas muka, what is your name? Ismi Rushda. My name is Rushda. I use the word isim. But when we are learning grammar, isim does not just mean name. It means noun. Means anything other than verbs, other than kata kerja, other than actions, other than prepositions, other than particles, they are isim. So for example, okay, I think the examples will be given in the next slide. Let's just go through all the three types of words. The second type of word is fi'il. Al-fi'lu or fi'lun or fi'il. Okay, is the short form or short form of this word will be fi'il. So isim fi'il. Fi'il means verb. And the third type of word is harf. Harf means particle. Okay. Um, for those who are Malay speaking, right, we have the word huruf. Huruf A, huruf B. So huruf means alphabet or letter. In Arabic, harf means letter also. It means alphabet. Huruf is the plural form, letters or alphabets. Okay, but that is outside the study of grammar. In grammar, harf is, when we are doing grammar, harf is a terminology. Harf means particle. So what is particle? Particle is any word that is other than noun or verb. If it doesn't fall under noun, it is not a verb, then it is considered as a particle. Okay. Right, let's look at isim first. So what is isim? Isim in English is translated as nouns, and it include proper nouns, okay, names of people. Yeah, what are some names that you can think of? Names of people. You can just unmute and share your answer. What are some proper nouns that you all can think of? Names of people, names of places. Best if the word
Mariam.
Maryam, yes, good, mashallah, alhamdulillah. So Maryam is mentioned in Al-Quran Al-Karim. So Maryam is an example of a proper noun, and Maryam is an isim. Okay. Any other example?
School.
School. Yes, correct. Again. School as
School.
in English school, right?
Yeah,
School.
sekolah.
Okay. Yes, correct. School is also an isim.
How
Okay, so
about
it's a noun.
teacher?
Teacher is also an isim. Yes,
Okay.
very good. So all these are isim. Okay, these are all nouns in English, and in Arabic, madrasa, mudarris, mudarrisa, masjid. All these are examples of isim. Even names of people: Muhammad, Maryam, Nuh, Zakaria, all the prophets' names, Asia, Fir'aun included. Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah is also an isim. So all these are examples of isim. And then pronouns. Example of pronouns in English:
You,
you, I.
I,
Mhm. Yes, correct.
we,
We. Good. So these are
mm,
all pronouns, and pronouns are also considered as isim, okay, or noun. Adjectives. Examples of adjective in English:
Tall, short, fat, color, big, small,
Good.
uh,
Yes, correct.
adjective are descriptive
Mm.
of a
So
noun.
big, small, short, tall, all these are adjectives.
Adjective.
And in English, I think, yeah, short, tall, big, small, they do not follow specific patterns, right? Yeah, but in tall, and small, different, maybe has pattern, both end with ALL, short and big. But in
Adjective,
Arabic,
I think in English it describes a person. The person is a tall boy. So boy is already a noun.
yes,
Tall is also
a
an
noun.
adjective, right? Yeah. So
Yes,
for in Arabic, uh, tall is also is an isim, and boy is also isim,
correct.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, correct. So boy is isim, noun. Tall is also an isim. So adjectives is also, they are also included under, or they are considered as isim. So tall, short, big, all these are isim. They are all nouns. Okay. And in Arabic, adjectives follow specific pattern. For example, qadirun, one of Allah's attributes, right? Asma'ullah al-Husna, al-Qadir. Qadirun. It has ya. Basirun. Sami'un. Alimun. Do you notice there's a pattern? You all follow the same, have fathah, kasra, ya followed by the last letter. Fathah, kasra, ya followed by the last letter. Fa'ilun, basirun, sami'un, alimun, azizun, qadirun. All these words, they are adjectives. Okay, so that's the difference, one of the differences between English and Arabic. So Arabic is, study of pattern is very important. So when you know the pattern, you can roughly get, oh, this is an adjective, describing Allah Azza wa Jalla, for example, or describing a person also can in other contexts, in some ayat. So when we memorize the pattern, it will help us to understand the word. Rahimun. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rahim is also an adjective, which means it's an isim. Okay, so these are examples of adjectives. And then we have adverbs. So adverbs, um, examples, they are zaraf lah basically. Tahta, fawqa, above, below, under. These are all considered as isim also in Arabic. And then interrogative nouns, how, what, also considered as isim in Arabic. These are just examples. Okay, so basically there are three main categories in Arabic, or types of words in Arabic. All right, so what are the signs of isim in Arabic? How do we know that this word is an isim? Okay, so one of the signs is it ends with tanwin. So an, in, un. So if you come across any word that ends with the double vowel, double dhamma, double kasrah, double fathah, sami'un, for example, azizun, hakimun, then all these words are nouns. Muhammadun, right, ends with dhammatain also. And then baitin ends with kasratain, which means they are all isim. Okay, only isim may accept and may end with tanwin. Only isim may end with tanwin. The other types of words, fi'il or harf, they will not never end with tanwin, or they can never accept tanwin at the back of the word. And then another sign of isim is al. So when there's a prefix al at the beginning of the word, then it means that word is also an isim. That is also a sign of isim. So for example, ar-Rahman, alif lam. If you see alif lam at the beginning of a word, then it means that word is a noun, is an isim. Okay, so ar-Rahman, the merciful or the most merciful. I think the more accurate translation will be the entirely merciful. Muhammadun. So what is the sign of isim here? Is the tanwin, the dhammatain, the double dhammah at the back. Okay, so that is a sign of an isim. So Muhammadun is an isim. And then ana means I. Okay, so here we don't see any sign. We don't see tanwin. It doesn't begin with alif lam, but the meaning of ana means I, and I is a pronoun. We mentioned just now that pronouns are all considered as isim. At this level, if you do not know what does ana mean, it's okay. Later there will be one lesson where we'll be learning about the meanings of the common pronouns in Arabic, inshallah. Okay, let's look at examples from Al-Quran Karim. So example of isim in the form of ayat. So every day we recite this, Surah Al-Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. The entirely merciful, the especially merciful. So Ar-Rahman starts with Alif Lam. Ar-Rahim also begins with Alif Lam. So both words are isim. Ar-Rahman is an isim. Ar-Rahim is also an isim. Okay, so if I ask you what is the type of isim, or what is the type of word, or what type of word is this, it's isim, and what is the sign, the alif lam or prefix alif lam at the beginning of both words. And then the another example in Surah Al-Fatiha also, the next ayah 4, Maliki Yaumiddin. So in this ayah, all the words are isim. Maliki. Malik means master, or some translate it as king, right? Or the owner. So king, owner, master, regardless of the translation that you choose, it means, it is an isim. It's a noun. King is a noun, owner is a noun, master is also a noun. Okay, so Malik is a noun. It's not an action. It's not a verb. Okay? And it's not a particle. It's a noun. Yaum means day. Yaum is also a noun. And then a din is also a noun. A din has this sign, alif lam. So if the word has one of the signs, alif lam or end with tanwin, then you automatically know that it's an isim. Even if you do not know the meaning, you can actually detect if it has a sign. But words that do not have a sign, like Maliki, there's no alif lam, there's no tanwin. This one we need to know the meaning, or at least the pattern that we will be learning later, inshallah. Yaum also. Yaumi does not begin with alif lam. It doesn't end with tanwin, but it is a noun. So not all nouns will carry the sign alif lam or tanwin, but all words that have alif lam or tanwin, they are nouns. Or only nouns may accept alif lam or tanwin. Okay. And then next, let's go to fi'l. So what is fi'l? Fi'l in Arabic or in English, it means verbs or action words. Means it is referring to an action with reference to past, present, or future. So fi'l is different from isim. Isim does not um the word Muhammadun, for example, it doesn't refer to specific time, but fi'il, usually it refers to a specific time. Okay, so fi'il will always, come in either past tense form or present tense form or future tense form. It's always, always refer to time. It can also come in imperative verb or command verb form, which does not exist in English. And then it also comes with a particular gender and plurality. So this is also partly that makes Arabic a very concise language lah. So for example, okay, wait. Example, if I want to say I love you. I love you for the sake of Allah. Uhibbuka fillah. I think it's a common phrase mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So uhibbuka means I love you. When the word in Arabic is just one word, uhibbuka, I love you. Uhibbuka is one word, but it's equivalent to three words in English. When you translate it into English, it becomes three words. So Arabic is a very concise language. That's one of the characteristics of Arabic language and one of the beauty of the language. Lah. So this one word in Arabic, so they say if you are doing translation work, right? You don't charge based on the number of words in English, but you charge based on don't charge based on the number of words in Arabic, but you charge based on the number of words in English lah. Because one word in Arabic is equivalent to three words in English. So imagine if you are translating a whole book or Al-Quran itself. Usually the translation is longer than the ayats, right? You look at the verses are shorter than the translation. Why? Because Arabic language is a very concise language. But you know that also means every single shakal, every single letter matters. The U sound at the beginning, it means I. And then the kaf at the back, the ka, uhibbuka. The ka means you. It's attached to the same word. Okay, so they come in one word, but in English it comes in three words. And then hub means, or hibbu here means love. That's the verb. Okay, and then when we look at the pattern also, hibbu, the shakal, okay, the vowels, we know automatically that this is a present tense. Okay, it's not a past tense, it's not an imperative verb, it's a present tense. Okay, so when we look at one word, we know a lot of things. We know who is the doer is I, who is the object, the one who received the action, you, what is the action is love, and it's in present tense. Okay, and the you is also very specific here in Arabic. The you is whether the object is one person or two person or three person. The you here is one person. Okay, so you masculine singular. One person masculine. Okay, it means I'm talking to a guy, to a man, and then how many person am I talking to? I'm addressing one person, singular. Okay, the car. That's the meaning of car. You masculine singular. Okay, so just one word. So that is why Arabic is a very concise language. This is an example of how concise it is. And maybe this is also one of the reasons why Al-Quran is revealed in Arabic. Can I imagine if Al-Quran was revealed in other languages? Yeah, then surely it would be very longer than the Mus'haf that we have lah. And it may or may not, convey the whole message, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, and then let's continue. Comes with gender and plurality. So more examples here given. Sha'a means he will. So sha'a is a past tense. And the doer is he, masculine. And then third person. This one just now, uhibbuka, I, first person pronoun. Sha'a means he will. And when we say in Allah, it means if he will or if Allah will. Okay, so when we hear the word sha'a, we know automatically that it's a past tense. Not automatically lah. We need to learn the pattern lah. So basically, if there are three letters, it's a verb. Usually, it's a past tense, and then there's no additional letter at the back. Usually, it's referring to one person, singular, masculine. Yalid in Surah Al-Ikhlas, lam yalid wa lam yulad. Yalid means he gives birth. But of course, in Surah Al-Ikhlas, it is preceded by lam. Lam yalid. He did not. He never give birth. So the word yalid is an example of a verb, a fi'l that is in present tense. Okay, sha'a just now past tense. Okay, so these are just some examples lah. We will learn more later on. So there will be two or three topics on past, two or three lessons on past tense, and then two or three lessons on present tense, and then future tense also. Yep. And the last type of verb also, there will be, I think, 1 or 2 lessons on this topic, like imperative verb. Okay, so this does not exist in English or in Malay also. So in Arabic, there's a specific type of verb or tense that is used to give command or instruction or request or dua also. So in most of our dua, Quranic dua, prophetic dua, ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرية. So the word hab, ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة. So آتي is an example of imperative verb. قل is an example of an imperative verb also. قل هو الله أحد. Allah Azza wa Jalla commands the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to say, قل أعوذ برب الفلق. قل أعوذ برب الناس. Yes, so قل means say, and it comes in imperative, or it is an example of an imperative verb. And the word say or qul is addressed to one person, okay, singular again, and masculine. So it's very specific. Okay. In some other ayats, you might find qulu with waw at the back. So qulu is when Allah Azza wa Jalla is addressing a group of people. Okay, there is a different, it comes in a different pattern. It ends with waw. The waw means plural. So yeah, um, you can see here very obvious, like one word in Arabic is translated into 2 words or 3 words like this. Okay, so it's very um concise lah, the words in Arabic. So these are all examples of fi'il. Okay, whether it's past tense, present tense, future tense, those all these will be covered later, much later. Not in this lesson. In this lesson, we just, what you need to know. We hope that at the end of this lesson, you are able to identify isim, fi'il, and harf. Okay, so how do we know whether this is a fi'il or not? So of course, at this level, I think we need to look at the meaning. But if the ayah or surahs are, common surahs that you have memorized, Kul, for example, I believe is very common to everyone here. Yeah, so Kul means say, and by looking at the translation, you know that it's a fi'il, it's a verb. Right. An example of fi'il in the form of ayat in Al-Quran Al-Karim. Every day we recite Surah Al-Fatiha, and every day we say this, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. So we have na'budu, which is a verb. It is you, we worship. Na'budu means we worship. Okay, so the na means we, and then the ain, ba, and dal comes from the word ibadah. Ibadah means worship, acts of worship. So we worship is a type of verb. It's an action, right? To worship Allah means it's an action, it's a verb, it's an action word. Okay? And then nasta'inu means we ask for help. Okay, nasta'inu is also another example of a verb, fi'il. Okay, so this is an action, asking for help. Okay, and then ihdina. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Ihdi, the first part of the word, ihdi, means guide. Who guide? You guide. Okay, I think I added the you in bracket because I think translation or in English, it doesn't require you to mention the pronoun if it's an imperative verb. But in Arabic, every verb has a doer. So the doer here, it comes in the form of pronoun, which is you, which refers to Allah Azza wa Jalla. So imperative verb in this ayah 6 of Surah Al-Fatiha, it means request, wish, or supplication basically. Of course, we do not command Allah Azza wa Jalla. We cannot give instruction to God. Instead, we ask Allah, we supplicate, we hope. So it's a form of dua. So ihdi is an example of imperative verb. Okay, so just now na'budu and nasta'in, present tense, sya'a, past tense. Yeah, so the different types of tenses. So all these are fi'il. Okay, I pause first. Any question on isim and fi'il, nouns and verbs?
Assalamualaikum Ustazah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
So, for example, tadi
Mhm.
the example of Maliki Yaumiddin. So in the translation, it master of the day of judgment. But in Arabic, Of course, we haven't go to harf. So the of, is it in any of the sentence there? Maliki Yaumiddin. Do we classify one of the the huruf for under the harf? Or there isn't any? It's all isim?
Yes, there isn't. All isim. So in Arabic, this is what we call possessive expression
Mm.
or possessive expression or it's a phrase lah. So Maliki Yawm, master of the day. And then Yawmiddin, day of judgment. It can also be in English, it can also be translated as judgment day's master using the apostrophe S without of. So for
Oh,
example, yeah, so this is what we call idafah lah. So idafah in Arabic, we don't use of. That is only in English lah. Yeah, so you don't see any word that translates off in English. So the off is basically English. You know, if you follow English structure or
yeah,
rules,
yeah,
then yeah.
yeah.
Other example, okay, maybe simpler example will be Kitabullah. Kitabullah means the book of Allah. So we don't. There's no off in the Arabic words. So Kitabullah, or Baitullah, or Rasulullah. Okay, so Rasulullah means the messenger of Allah, Kitabullah, the book of Allah. So all these words or phrases, they are called they're considered as possessive expression. And in English, usually they are translated with the word of or apostrophe S. So book of Allah, and then messenger of Allah or Allah's book. Where's the slash? Okay. Allah's book and messenger, Allah's messenger. Okay, so these are examples of the possessive expression that you mentioned. This one, yeah, will be covered at syntax level. There's some question. Okay, we'll open the chat. Assalamualaikum Ustazah. To identify Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To identify noun, we can look out for tanwin and alif lam. How about verbs? Yes, nouns. So all words that end with tanwin and alif lam, they are nouns, but not all nouns end with tanwin, or I have alif lam. That's one. So for verbs have a lot of signs. That one when we learn about verbs, then we will be learning about the signs. Some of the signs, let's erase this first. Okay. Some of the signs are na, but not all. Okay, let me. Okay. Some of the signs that we can see here, iyyaka na'budu, it starts with na. So na followed by three root letters. How to change this color? So this is one of the examples of signs of noun verbs or fi'il in Arabic. And then this one also. Na. So both na, they are prefixes and they can only be attached to a verb, a fi'il. They have a very specific meaning. They refer to the doer. It means the doer is we, nahnu. What are other signs? Other signs of verbs, there's a lot actually. They can also begin with prefix ya, prefix a. So when we learn about verbs, later we will be learning about this. So yeah, ihdi, the signs are, you see the ha and dal, and it has this alif at the beginning. This alif is actually, we call it hamzatul wasl. It doesn't have any shakal. If you look at, refer to Al-Quran Karim, the Mus'haf, there's no kasrah or fathah, right? There's no hamza also. It's not written. Then usually this is also one of the signs of verb. In fact, a very specific sign of a verb is an imperative verb. So iqra, usjud, wasjud waqtarib in Surah Al-Alaq, Surah Al-Inshirah, farghab, for example. So if you look at all these words, right, there's a lot of command verbs in Juz 30. Yeah, so ihdi is one of the example. It begins with this alif that doesn't have shakl. And this alif is a sign for verbs. Yeah, only verbs, usually verbs lah, will begin with this kind of alif. So we have ya and then waw nun at the back, ya nun at the back. Yeah, there's a lot of signs lah for fi'l because there are three types of fi'l at least. Yep. So other than that, the meaning. Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Welcome. All right, let's go to harf. So if the word is not a noun and if it's not a, a verb action, then it will fall under harf. So what is harf? Anything that is, any word, okay, that is not an isim. If it's not a fi'l, then it becomes or it is considered as a harf. And usually harf, we do not know the exact meaning of the word of the harf without the context, without a phrase at least, if not a sentence. So we need to, yeah, some huruf, they have different meanings. They have a few meanings. We can only translate the harf, the particle, accurately if we have a sentence, a context, or a phrase lah, at least. Yes, so examples of topics and that fall under harf or particles, prepositions. Um, examples of prepositions in English: in, at, on, with, for. So all these are prepositions. Okay, and then conjunctions. For example, and, so. These are examples of conjunctions. So they are considered as harf or particles. Negation words, for example, la, lam alif. Okay, la yukallifullahu nafsan. So la means no or do not. La is a negation words. Okay, so no. Yeah, in English, no, other than no, I cannot think of other words in English, other negation words in English, other than no. Yeah. Those are examples of topics that or words that are considered as harf. So la means no or do not, don't, and then wa and so by ala, example of a preposition. Wa is an example of conjunction. La is an example of a negation word. Okay, so all these words, they are considered as harf. One of the signs of harf, right? Generally speaking, or most of the huruf or harf, they are short. They have three letters or two or one. Okay, so ana has three letters, right? And then wa, or la first, la has two letters, lam and alif. Wa has one letter only. Okay, letter wa. So yeah, harf is considered as like the smallest unit or the shortest word. It's shorter as compared to shorter than isim, shorter than fi'il. Okay, so that can be one of the signs. Yeah. So yep, I think the longest is three lah, three letters. For isim and fi'il at least three. Okay, but harf three is like the max. Yeah, I cannot think of more than three letters for harf, for particles. Okay, so for verbs, for example, three is the least, the minimum. Right, kataba, and then yaktubuna or abada, three letters, and then na'budu, four letters. Right, so that is verb. But harf, usually if you see this kind of word, wa, just one letter, or two letters, la, or fi, um, what else? Ila, B, Bismillah, for example. B. B is an example of a harf also. I think it's in the next slide. Yeah, B. Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So Bismi is a combination of B and okay, change and Ismi. Okay, so B is a particle and then Ismi is an isim. Okay, it means name. So with or by the name of Allah, or in the name of Allah, or with the name of Allah, different translation lah. The B can be translated as in, can be translated as with the name of Allah, I begin this section. It can also be translated as by. Okay, by the name of Allah, I do this. Okay. So Bismillah, B is attached to the next word, which is isim, name. And B is a preposition. It's a particle, a form of a type of harf. Okay. Okay, then another example is li. Okay, li is just a single letter word. Okay, the word li or letter li that is in Alhamdulillah. Okay, I cannot change the color of li without changing the color of the next lam and ha. Try to change just the li, make it in red, but cannot. So I just circle here. So this li, and it's underlined. So the li is a harf, is a particle. Okay, so alhamdulillah. Alhamdu, all praise. And then lillah means to Allah. So li is translated as to or belong to, or some translations use for Allah. All praises are for Allah. Okay, so lillah is a combination of li and Allah. So if you see lam lam ha without this alif here, so this alif is dropped, without the alif, then it means it's a combination of two words, li and Allah. So this alif is removed here. Okay, so if you just see lam lam and ha without alif, then it means lillah. Even without the shackle or vowels, you may be able to read this. So lillah means to Allah, or belong to Allah, or for Allah. Yeah, lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard, for example. Okay, everything that is in the heavens and in the earth belong to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Okay, so alhamdulillah, all praise due to Allah, or belong to Allah, or is for Allah. So the exact meaning of li, right, can, it may differ. It depends on English, on the rules lah. English rules lah. The language that is translated into how to translate it. Okay. And then yeah, and again, if we do not have a full sentence or at least a phrase, then yeah, li can also be translated as other meanings also. The li also is used to make oath, to swear. So lillah also can also mean by Allah. Yep, just like wallah. Allah means wallahi, by Allah, demi Allah. So we can only know the exact meaning of li if we have a context. Means at least a phrase or a complete sentence. Right, so that's harf. And then, yep, this is like the summary of lesson 1. Anwa'ul kalimah, the types of words, isim, fi'il, and harf. Nouns, verbs, and particles. Okay, so the examples shared. So, Allahu, Muhammadun, these are all proper nouns. Yeah, and proper nouns all fall under isim. Proper nouns means nouns that begin with the capital letter in English. And then Rabbi, Rabbi means Lord. So Rabb is also an example of a noun. Al-Alamin is also an example of a noun. And Al-Alamin has the sign. Muhammadun also carries the sign. One of the signs of Isim. Okay, what's the sign for Muhammadun? What is the sign of Isim that we can see in Muhammadun? The sign that tell us that this must be an Isim, whether we understand the meaning or not.
Unwin.
Yes, correct. That's the sign. Good. And then Al-Alamin, what's the sign? The last example.
Alif Lam.
Yes, correct. The alif lam at the beginning of the word alamin. So whether we understand the word alamin or not, we know the meaning or not, we know that this is an isim because only isim may accept alif lam. Okay. And then, okay, verbs. So verbs are action words. Yeah, so the examples of verbs, kul, and then ikra, um, and na'budu and a'udhu. So these are common verbs. Qul, you know the three quls or the four qul. Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun, qul huwallahu ahad, qul a'udhu birabbil falaq, qul a'udhu birabbin nas. You know the three quls we recite before going to sleep. So they begin with qul, say, katakanlah. Eh? And then we have iqra, which is the first verse, the first command that Allah sent to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right, is to iqra, to read. And of course, not just read as in read the text or the book, but to also to read as in to learn, to study about Allah Azza wa Jalla and by the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So iqra is also an example of a command verb. It's like qul also. Okay. And iqra was also the first verse that was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then na'budu is in Surah Al-Fatihah. Na'budu means we worship. So worship is also a type of action, a verb, a fi'l. Okay, so na'budu. A'udhu, qul a'udhu. Say, after say what? I seek refuge. I seek protection. So seeking refuge, seeking protection is also an action, a form of action. Right? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge. So we are doing something. I am doing something. When I say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, I am asking Allah to protect me. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah or with Allah minash shaitanir rajim, from shaitan, the cursed. So it's a form of action. A'udhu. It's a type of verb or fi'l. And then particles. So words that do not fall, they do not fall under nouns or verbs. They are not objects. They are not names of people, animals, names of places. They are not referring to something, and they are not actions. They are not verbs. Then they fall under harf. Okay, and it's like the shortest unit. When it comes to words in terms of the number of letters. So fi, for example, it means in. Um, Lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. Okay, and then alladhi yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas. Fi, need two letters. Okay, so it means in, can also be translated as at. Um, yeah, on also sometimes. So we can only know the exact translation or the most suitable translation if we have a phrase or an ayah or at least a sentence now. And then li, just now we talk about li. So li translated as for can also be translated as to, by. Yeah, these are among the translations. B, just one letter only, B. It's usually attached to the next word. Okay, to a noun that comes after. It will only precede a noun. And then B is translated as with, by. So Bismillah, by the name of Allah, with the name of Allah, in the name of Allah. So B is an example of a harf, only one letter, and wa. Okay. Yeah. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. And so wa is also one letter, and it falls under harf, under particle, because it's not an action, it's not a noun also. Okay, alhamdulillah. Any question? That's the last slide.
Kita tak apa different dia saya Melayu Mama. Auzubillah, na'uzubillah, apa nak cara cakap itu.
Makna dia, the meaning of
Ah,
na'udhu,
Maknanya atau yang kita nak gunakan na'uzubillah,
Mhm.
macam mana cara dia. Dulu orang katakan na'uzubillah.
Aha. Na'udzubillah.
Menjauh apa itu. Jadi sekarang ni auzubillah kita minta pertolongan ni. Auzubillah asyik dulu saya tak tahulah makna
Yeah.
English. Macam
Yeah. So,
jadi orang cakap na'uzubillah. Apa dia punya perbezaan lah.
na'udzubillah begins with na, start with
Ah.
na.
Mm-mm.
So the na means we, kami,
Sama dia. Ramai lah. Kami.
ramai. Betul.
So
Yes.
jadi satu orang, saya.
Satu, one person, I.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's the difference. So these are all prefixes lah. Ni semua huruf tambahan, imbuhan. So
Jadi,
na means
atau
we,
lebih.
means I. Yeah, that's the difference. So na'udzubillah means we seek refuge. Kita atau kami minta pertolongan Allah, bukan pertolongan, minta protection, perlindungan. Ya, kami berlindung pun boleh juga. A'udzu, saya berlindung atau aku berlindung. So that's the difference lah. We and I. So na and the pronouns. Dhamir dia beza.
Ni atau saya
Yep. Okay. Any other question? Ada soalan lain? Alright. So if there's no question, then we can go through the worksheet. The questions. Okay. So, types of words. Anwa'ul kalimah. So usually, yeah, if we have time, then we will go through some of the questions. Or maybe I just show how to do one or two questions, and then the rest I hope you all can do on your own. And come prepared in the next lesson. So at the beginning of lesson 2, we'll go through all the answers for lesson 1 worksheet lah. Okay. All right. Here the translation is here. Because this is the first lesson, but I think in the other worksheets, the translation will not be given, and we don't encourage students to refer to translation first. So translation will be last option lah. Means you try to guess the words, the meaning, the answer, attempt the questions without referring to translation first. Only after we have finished the worksheets, then you can refer to translation to check your answers lah. So yep, only in this lesson that we include the translation because it's to identify isim, fi'il and harf, and we have not learned yet about the signs of fi'il yet, and then we haven't learned about harf with more details now. Okay, so identify nouns, isim, verbs, fi'il, and particles, harf, from the following surah and Surah An-Nas and write them in the space provided. So it's a very common surah. I believe everyone memorized this surah. Let's look at the words that are used in this surah and categorize them accordingly. So if it's an isim, you write the word under this column, the first column. If it's a verb, fi'il, you may write the verbs under this column. And if it's a particle, it's not isim, it's not fi'il, then it will fall under harf. Okay. Right, let's try the first ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل أعوذ برب الناس. So the first word قل, is it an isim or fi'il or harf? The meaning of, okay, never mind. Try to guess
Fi'il.
first. You mentioned
Fi'il.
again fi'il. Yes, correct. So you write qul here. What's this? Okay. And then qul means say. Okay, it's a very specific type of say. It's a command verb and Allah is addressing one person. Anta, you, masculine, singular. And here, of course, in this ayah, we know that he is addressing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the next word, a'udhu. Okay, we give a'udhu just now in the example, one of the examples. So a'udhu is fi'il also. So you write a'udhu here. And then bi rabbi.
B is harf.
B is harf.
Harf.
Eh,
Harf.
Yes. And rabbi,
Isim.
isim. Correct. So it may look like one word, but actually there are two words here. B and rabbi. Okay, so B means in, translated as in here. And then rabbi, the Lord or Lord. And the last word, anas.
Anas. Isim.
Yes. Anas has the sign. What is the sign of isim that we can see here?
Alif lam.
Alif lam.
Yes, correct. Alif lam. Okay, so whether we know the meaning of nas or not, we know that it's an isim because of alif lam. Only nouns or isim can accept alif lam. Okay, so in the next ayats, there are also the word nas is repeated, right? In ayah 2, 3, and 5 and 6. So you don't need to write the word anas again lah. Okay, no need to repeat. Just yeah. So you just write the following the words that have not been written here. Okay, and then yeah, so that's how you do it. It's quite simple. If you cannot write in Arabic, then you can just maybe indicate if it's an isim, then you write I, for example. And then if it's a fi'il, then you write F, for example. Harf H. Just write in English also can lah. Okay. So this one, this is a verb. Sorry, use the Arabic term, please. So fi'il. Even if you cannot write in Arabic, but we have learned the terms today. Isim, fi'il, harf. So fi'il means verb, and then a'udhu is also a fi'il. So F, B is a harf. Harf means particle. So H, Rob is isim. So I, isim. Nas is also an isim. I. This is for those who cannot write in Arabic. Okay. You can still join this course as long as you know how to read. Okay, so writing is not like a requirement, but reading is a prerequisite. Okay, you must be able to read the text or the Arabic text lah, Al-Quran in other words. Even if it's not fluent, doesn't matter as long as you can read in Arabic. Yeah. Okay. Any question? Please do the rest as homework. We will go through the answers inshallah next week at the beginning of the lesson. Okay, so try to be on time, inshallah. Right, any question before we end?
So far, no.
Again?
No question. Alhamdulillah.
No question.
Very clear.
Okay, okay.
Terima kasih Ustazah.
Alright, alhamdulillah, sama-sama. No problem, no worries. Okay, ada lagi soalan? Yang daripada yang lain-lain ke? Okay, let me just check the chat box. Okay. Nope. Alright, so basically that's the format of the lesson. Okay, so every lesson comes with the handouts. So I will go through, explain the topic using the handouts or slides. And then at the end of it, there will be a simple worksheet like this. Yeah. If let's say for those who have finished this, right, you have means and you have the time to do more, you can just choose any other surah, Surah Al-Ikhlas or Surah Al-Falaq or Surah Al-Fatiha even. Okay, and then try to identify what are the isims from Surah Al-Fatiha, what are the fi'il in Surah Al-Fatiha, what are the huruf or harf in Surah Al-Fatiha. Okay, that will inshallah help to yeah, enhance your understanding now of the topic. Yep. So don't limit yourself to the worksheet lah. I know some of you I mean this is like the minimal lah. Okay, minimum, we expect students to do the worksheets that we provide, but of course, nothing should stop you from doing more. Okay, then if there's no question, then inshallah we will end the lesson. Suhaila, do we end here
Boleh,
or you have
Ustazah.
anything?
Okay,
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. So, thank you so much, Ustazah Rushda, for the introduction of Quranic Arabic. For those who have signed up with us, inshallah, we will meet next week. For those sisters who comes in today for the preview, if you are keen to sign up, you can go on. I've sent the link for the registration on the chat group, shop.ewn.sg. Then you can actually register with us. We still have time, inshallah, for you to pick up. So the lesson for today, the introduction for today will be up on our YouTube. So kalau nak refer balik, what is isim, what is fa'il, what is huruf, then you can actually look up and dekat kita punya YouTube channel, insyaAllah. So the lesson, kita ada we have two payment term. One is by monthly, another one is by module. Module is $180, which is comprising of 12 sessions lah. So satu session, if you get the module, is actually cheaper. One session is about $15 for 1.5 hours. InsyaAllah. Okay. So boleh Ustazah kita tutup majlis?
Okay, shukran Suhaila. Alright, so let's
Sure.
end the lesson with Tasbih Kafara and Surah Al-Asr. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusrin illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Okay, I see you